heard this today from a Rebbe. Your parents have to learn, and he meant it seriously, that was the sad thing, that your parents have to learn that this is not legal, and therefore go and get a letter. It's freezing cold, I don't have a coat, right? I knew how to speak to Israel because I heard it from the parents. He came home soaking wet, and never went back to school. Is that big T, small T?
Yeah, I hear. No, let me say this. There's the Yesh Oimrim that a big percentage of these kids are suffering from major big T, i.e. sexual trauma, for example, abuse.
Right.
Whereas there's a good side to say, which I see a lot, like you're saying, which is accumulation of lots of, medium-sized T or small T.
There's much too much of that going on.
You're seeing both?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What type of percentage? An idea? A rough breakdown, I'd say?
Depends who you ask. Actually, Russell will tell you that 90%. I know, exactly.
But you said I'm this topic. I see a lot of...
I'm cautious that the statistics are a little bit...
That sounds high.
Yeah.
Not little T is...
What?
More on the mid-sized T is more reasonable.
But an accumulation.
Yeah, isn't it?
And sometimes much worse, because when it comes to molestation, there's one bad guy on it. And just because he's from, and because the from community didn't protect you, and when you went to the police, the from community hit your parents, and that, but when you've got this rebel, day in, day out, it's now, or some other wonderful things that we're hearing, the Ayin Horror, the imagination that some of the rebels have got to murder. I'll tell you a story that happened today, just so you should realize the thing I'm worrying on him. It happened in Manchester, so it's like the Mamash and Mice loafers. And there was a child that was allergic to orange. There was a Siam, big moment, and a bottle of Coke came in, and a bottle of orange. So if I was that kid, I would say to the KFM's got the Coke, pass me the Coke, I can't have orange. If everyone's going to take orange, the Coke, till it gets to me, I'll have nothing. So he very gently asked for the orange to come, for the Coke to come. They passed it to him, his friends were very, very obliging, and the Coke came to his place. Says his Rebbe, because I wouldn't be running off. He sent the Coke back. Front of the whole class. Is that a big trauma or little trauma?
Little T.
Medium. What?
Medium, it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. Okay, so, but because it was just middle, the Rebbe didn't stop there. Because, we really have to educate the kids. He called up the parents, without telling the child, and said, your child is very thirsty. And he only wants to drink water. Can you please bring him a cup of water? The father said, yeah, sure, the child's thirsty. The child took the father took a cup of water, drove all the way to the school, knocked on the Rebbe on the classroom of the kid, right, and gave the kid, I said, I heard you were thirsty, and put a cup of water on the desk for the child. Is that a little T or a big T?
Why are people teaching it?
No idea. That you're asking me? There's a nice child. I heard it from a parent today. Is that big T or little T?
It's still little T.
It's still little T.
Did it?
But
It's not easy. I'm saying little T's are more difficult than big T's, but
this kid's going to go off to there.
I
Call it middle or big or small.
yeah,
He's going to go
that's
off to there.
the reality.
Why? Because the only thing you can do. If that's what Yiddishkeit is, if that you're a Rebbe and that's what you're teaching, I'm having nothing to do with it. You're honest. And he's making a very, very sensible choice. It's unfortunate at his age, people can't help him differentiate between Yiddishkeit and people representing Yiddishkeit. Because it doesn't make sense. He should have stood up, slapped the Rebbe, and walked out and says, you don't deserve a Talmud like me, and walk out. That's what he should have done. I hope if the Rebbe's hearing this, I'm not going to get a thing, but that's what he should have done. And if I was the father of that child, that's what I might have done. But I wasn't. And they lost the kid. We're not here to say stories, there's stories on that.
I'm not want to speak, but I've been called as a place I see. We always think we blame the children a lot. It's not always the children's fault.
It's never the children's fault.
Never, you're saying. Never.
He's a kid. He's Michal Shabbos, he's Potter. So what are you being Michal exactly? Well, no, that's not nothing. Terry, that's him Yom Kippur. We're blaming the kid. So we have a problem here. We have the brain is messed up because the emotions got messed up. And what do we have now? A trauma type of PTSD, right? That his belief about himself, everything about his emotions is messed up. And there's no one to talk to because his brain's messed up. So what do you do then? And then you're this Heilige mentor who's getting paid, however much you're getting paid, for this kid who doesn't want to go to school because he's a lazy child and he's just not interested in learning, and he needs somebody to help him learn Gemara, and you're getting this child, and you realize very quickly, no one in. Right? And all us therapists, mentors, we get stuck with this. What now? How are you going to get through to him? And the idea is, you're the one good. I'm sure you have this all the time. You get this kid, you have to remember one thing. No normal father is sending a normal kid to you. That's not happening. Maybe it should, it's not happening. What? So we have to understand a little bit what's happening to the emotions. It's clear you can't start from the brain. Don't give him David Byrne's book to try and explain to his brain why it's not about all or nothing, and be'etzem you have value. Forget it, right? You don't give a trauma victim David Byrne's book, right? Even though it would solve all the problems.
I don't know David Burns, but
CBT.
feeling good.
CBT, not much, but yeah.
It's a line of CBT.
Feeling good. Well, it's good. Right? You ever got anyone out of trauma by speaking to him? No. So what is it? How are you going to get through to him if you can't speak to him? So we have to get back to the emotions. The oilum of reddish, what's it made of? What's in the oilum of reddish? The innate reddish. What are the base emotions that every single human being needs? Without them, he's going to commit suicide. All of us. Without these emotions, he's not going to survive. What are they? Love and respect. There are other needs. There's 4 usages. Eishurach, Mayim, and Offer. Without going down to those places, there are 4 basic needs. There's more, but let's focus on 4 of them. There's love, right? Which is Eino Tluya B'Davar. Because we love, you were there this morning, weren't you? Right. If it's Tluya B'Davar, it's not love, it's a business. Right? There's love, there's covered, which means it's Dafka Tluya B'Davar, because you have to be mechabet him for something. You can't be mechabet him for nothing. Covered means I'm here, you're there. There's something about you that I'm not. Right? Ava is how we are the same, and covered means how we are individual. Right? For those who want a little bit more fancy sprach. But there's Ava, there's covered, and this father says, how can I be mechabet him? I mean, he's wearing a couple without a ring. How can I respect him? You want me to love him? Right? He doesn't stay till the end of davening. You want me to love him? Those are things that the average parents are saying.
What's the answer? What's the answer?
What's the question?
What's the answer to the father?
I put the father through severe trauma for 2 hours, and I point to him what his child is feeling. Like I ask him, and that's one of the things I do. That's why I always get 2 parents together because they help me with each other. It's brilliant growing. It's awful, but it works.
If they're divorced. They're divorced.
What? If they're divorced?
Yeah, it's very hard to answer.
Well, sometimes I ask them, do you want to get that? At that stage, do you want to get divorced? Right, and then. So
which one said that?
So I sometimes ask the father, if this child dropped dead, right, would you be upset? Yeah, Rasul Salanta says. That's happening. With drop dead, he says, listen, I'll definitely be relieved that he's not doing more Averas, he's not going to get Oynush, and Mutav Yom Zakai V'lo Yom Chaya. No, I would also want to be dead if I was such a Rasha. Mamash Kamoicha. And then when the father says, it's often the father who says, "Tov, at least I'll know, I'll say Shiva, and then I'll be able to start life." Right? And do you know what happens then? The mother bursts out crying. And then I don't need any answers. I'll say, why is she crying? And then I use them against each other, and she says to me, if that's what you think, I'm walking out. And then we have a matzav, and I just leave them to it. By the time they're finished, he knows what's going on. And I said, do you realize what your child is feeling? I asked him, when your father thought we weren't perfect, did you know about it? He said, yeah, I knew exactly my father. But even though he told me that he appreciated me, Yeah, I knew when I only got 98, he thought I was a failure. He did say, well done, and kol hakavod, the mitzvah makes him get 100, but, right? He knows exactly what his father felt. So I said, is there a chance that your child knows what you're feeling? No, what do you mean? I always tell him that I love him. I said, oh yeah? If your child knows what you're feeling. Why will let the mumchim tell you how it works that my child knows what I'm feeling? But they do, whether you like it or not. And I put the parents to a tremendous trauma of just feeling what the child is feeling with the way they're looking at the child. I said, I can't help that child. I don't know who he is, but you can. If you don't find a place in your hearts to love that child, he's going to commit suicide. And do you know why? Because he loves you. It doesn't want to cause you pain. He could do the much harder thing and go for that. And save the parents the anguish of having to like shiva and save them all that business. Right? The parents have
No, it's okay. Just remind you of the bayah. The bayah that we're talking about a loch. We got a black hole, which is a chasarn of avos. Now, the hashlama of that hole is coming from several directions. Yeah, we're talking about giving avos, right? Now, that can come from the parents, the therapist, or the mosque, which is in, let's say, in yeshiva. For some kids or off, whatever else. You got three venues. Now, how do you see the tzrichas between the hashlama from all these directions? Meaning, so you're in a situation where the parents are unable, so it's on the therapist, the mosque. Or how do you understand those?
You don't need the answer because you're the therapist.
No, but oftentimes you work with you have to you're mechanech parents. There's a tzrichas.
When I speak to parents, I tell the parents how they have to be muslim. Oh, so now we're going to come to the therapist and the mentors.
Yeah. But there's a hashlama coming from one direction. So
everyone has to.
Every direction as much as possible.
And covered. And you say, but how can I respect him? Like, he's letting us down. So we have to help the parents find something to respect about the child. And I said this morning, I'm sorry for boring those who've heard this before, but it's the same Torah, the nefesh hasn't changed since this morning. And for those most of you were not there. If this child, the classic, if this child fasted half day on Yom Kippur, he thinks it's Tom Ketani Nidche. And he fasts till Chatzos on Yom Kippur, and then he eats.
How old is this child?
19. Okay? He's eating from after Chatzos. Who's getting more Gan Eden for Yom Kippur, you or him? Did your fasting on Yom Kippur reflect any Yiras Shamayim? Bichlal?
Hopefully when I get time to get my age a bit.
Yiras Shamayim? You think about the mitzvah of Yiras Shamayim on Yom Kippur, when you got time for that? No, awareness. You fast because the mitzvah of Yiras Shamayim? You fast because Yom Kippur you fast. At the best you don't think about it. And at the worst, you say, listen, it's the chorus. There's just nothing doing. You don't even have to be from to fast on Yom Kippur. Right? An average Chiloni fasts on Yom Kippur. So is there any Yiras Shamayim involved? 0. He fasted half day. You know what that means? He struggled for 12 hours. And he was committed not to break it for 12 hours. Can you imagine his Gan Eden?
So you should tell him nothing? So you should let him.
Of course you tell him nothing. Tell him something. Even mitzvahs chinuch is a drabonon at the most. Telling him something is a lav of lifnever. It's a gemara. Hamakes b'nei godel and made cotton it's in the kuntres. No, it's in the kuntres. I think it's in made cotton as well. But you have a look there. My head's not working now. Right? But if you say something to him that's hurting him, you're over a lav of lifnever. So what's going on here? I told them this morning, it's very important, it's for parents, not for it's for parents, not for mentors, but the job of parents is not to be mechanech. It's one of the things they have to do with Rabbanon. But who you are is to be a parent. And Rashi says that the word av is translated as chaver. That's what Rashi says in 3 places. An av is a chaver. It's very unpopular to say that. Because number one, if you're a father, you've got to be the best friend of your child. It happens to be the Torah gave you a mitzvah to Rabbanon of chinuch. Smell doicha, yimid makarev. Which hand is stronger, by the way?
Right.
The right hand. So even when you're being doicha, do it gently. When you're being, the Quran says it, when you're being makarev, do it with all the force. So if you know the rules of chinuch and it's working, sounds like a music. The pasuk says, "Chanoich v'nar al pidar play, gam ki yazkin lo yoso." If every bit of chinuch you're doing is sending him further away from his destination, it's not even chinuch, it's stomach bully. So you're taking a mitzvah rabbanon, doing it wrong and becoming a bully, and you totally disregarded the fact that you're supposed to be his best friend. He's got innate desire to be good. Every child does. Even if you're not mechanech him, he'll probably be okay at the end. If he's got a father who's connected to him.
Rebbe, if you have a kid who he says the only reason why I'm frum is because I don't want to hurt my parents. What's your way forward with that?
I'm telling you, your reshut, your sensitivity is amazing. I don't know if I would be able to be so to do so much just not to hurt my parents. I think you're amazing. And then I'd call up the parents and really give them help. That's what I would do.
So the fear shit is very, very, very much, you don't blame the kids whatsoever, whatever age.
No, I do blame them for everything they're responsible for.
You call you nothing? There's nothing.
You tell me.
Blame
Blame is only for his responsibility. Find something he's responsible for and blame him. Don't blame him for something his parents are responsible for. His Rebbe told me, the reason I need a late note is to train the parents, and the parents should go to bed early enough, to wake up early enough to send the kids off in the school. Because they all know that the late note doesn't help anything. It embarrasses the kid, it just makes them even later because it's a pain in the neck. I mean, I regularly have to write 6 or 7 notes every single day. It's just like an extra chorus you have to do every single morning.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
What?
Why
It's-
kids now can ask you.
Why my kids late? Because I'm dysfunctional. Say that.
And they're teaching us how to be functional.
Correct. So that's a good catch. So I'm being warned. I'm telling you how not to do it. Right? So I'm dysfunctional, right? And my kids get into school, and really the Rebbe should say to the kid, you should know, I know you wanted to be on time. Your parents were dysfunctional. It took you an hour to wake them up. And it's okay, don't worry, I'll learn with you the two psukim you missed coming to the class. No, the Rebbe says, where's your late note? Oh yeah, my mother wrote it, I've left it at home. Go home and tell your parents to make sure next time you remember to read the note.
Does it ever
They have to
happen?
know. What?
Everything meant on time, the kid left school 15 minutes earlier. He actually, for some reason, I don't know, got stuck on half an hour and was late for his own accord. It's still the parents.
Mm-hmm. It never happens. It never happens. And it's their kids on the way to school and just stops. Because what they used to think the late notes were that the parents should be aware that the child is late. And if you don't come with the late note, it means that your parents think you went to school and really you went to rob a bank. And the parents have to know that. So get them to write a note, and then they'll realise that you left late. They say, oh mate, you wanted to go an hour earlier. How often does that happen? Garnished.
What's your general attitude to discipline with parenting? What balance of being strong with your kids when necessary, if necessary?
Exactly as much as it works.
And if it's not working,
Just don't do what doesn't work, it doesn't pay. Chaval on your energy.
figure out another plan.
Don't do what doesn't work. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get to where you always got, or worse. Right? So if it's working, it's good. I don't need to agree with what your mahalach in chinuch is. But if it works, or if you think it works, I don't have the right to tell you to stop. I might think you're making a mistake, and I might think in 10 years you're going to pay for it. But if it seems like it's working, then you're not coming to me. Right? No one's coming to you because things are working.
People who, often I'll also preach, being loving and accepting. What do you say to people who will argue back and counter that by saying, where's the child going to learn consequences from, the real world out there? If you speed, you get a fine. You get locked up once it's too late. As a kid, you're supposed to be able to show them consequences.
Absolutely, when he understands what you're doing.
Explain it.
When my wife got caught speaking on the phone while she was driving, she told the policeman, you're 100% right. I had to pay for it, but long story. Because she was a mature adult, she made a mistake, she owned it, and she learned from it. Oh, kid. The Gresham told me that. The Gresham told me small deicha works only if the child appreciates that you've taught him something. But if you're doing consequences every day, then he's not learning consequences. Right? You're just traumatizing him into doing what you want. That's called haf'ala in Yaakov's Sprach. I don't know, it's haf'ala. You're training him with le'alef. It's like we do with animals. Right? You're just making him go through the motions, but you're not teaching him anything, you're not creating anything. He's not becoming a more civilized or stable person. He just knows, in my house, it doesn't pay to do X, Y, or Z. But what's that taught him in life?
At the house.
Don't get caught. Out of the house, do what you want. You have anything that works.
Conditioning. Conditioning.
And that's not chinuch.
Skill.
And it doesn't work. What?
You say until age 7, never say no, because the kid doesn't understand why you're saying no, why you're
You're
saying yes.
mechavan to Gemara. Kabarashis, Kabarasheva. That's where the age of chinuch starts.
7.
So it's never.
Kabarash, it depends on the fichurfe the Gemara said. Now 6-year-olds understand, 7-year-olds understand.
So a 5-year-old
And there's
kid.
50-year-olds who don't. What?
The 5-year-old kid takes his supper and puts it all over the floor. You don't say anything. You just clean up like a good boy, and that's it. Don't say don't spill this supper. They don't understand. Why not? So,
You can say it.
but will the child understand?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They might not show you that, but
They understand. But I wouldn't tell them the chinuch. Anything a child, I think the Mishkov said this, anything that he's not going to do when he's older is nothing to do with chinuch. Is he going to tip the plate upside down when he's 40?
No.
So it's not chinuch shayla. Only
the
chinuch.
Chiddush Shara is something, say that again, only it's going to have repercussions.
Only something that if you're not mechanech him, then when he's older he's not going to do it. If he doesn't get used to davening when he's younger, he won't daven when he's older.
What you said before about, look,
This kid who jumps up on the table on the mizrach of a big meeting, jumps on the table, this is a story of the Mishkov. This kid jumped on the table, went all along the table and went down the other side. His father was cold as a cucumber. And then the kid did it again. And somebody says, no, chinuch. I think the Mishkov told him, says nothing to do with chinuch. He's a kid. You want to take him out, take him out. What's chinuch going to do?
the thing you said about davening, what we said before is, if he's, let's say he's early, he's not looking aside, you want him.
But it's to be age appropriate. So be age appropriate.
This day and age could be, who knows what age that is. Who knows what age that is.
32, 33. So what we have to do as mentors is not so much about how much we preach. If they're coming to you to teach them Gemara, that's okay. If he's able to do it, and he just needs a bit of cognitive help, say that. If they're coming to you as a big brother, then the chances are that this kid needs lots of love. Give it to him. Let him talk himself out. You be there for him. Just contain him. You don't need answers. Just be